Good evening, buenas tardes. We're going to go ahead and call the curriculum committee meeting to order. We're going to go ahead and start off with roll call. Saul Olivas,
Mayra Reyes,
Tania Valencia.
Amy Engel.
Bob Elverson.
and there were no public comments. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it out to Dr. Engel.
Thank you very much. We have a very full agenda today. We're starting out our day with Rollins Elementary School. They are here to share their school improvement plan with us. We're pleased to welcome Principal Dr. Corona and future Principal Mrs. Schmeezing. Welcome.
Dr. Halverson, members of the board, my name is Dr. Juan Corona. This is
Stephanie Schmeezing.
we are the proud principals of Rollins Elementary School. I got to start off and letting you know that this year Rollins turned 35 years old. We are very happy about that, and I've been very hard at work at getting a new marquee. We've updated the office, and there's a lot of work going on as well, but we are very happy to be there. It's a great place for community that we've been blessed to be a part of, so I'm excited about that. Thank you. So here are some of our highlights for this year. This year we did go up for our students meeting map for math. We went up 2% there. We're very excited about that. A lot of work went into that. We know that we have a lot of work to do with our reading, and we have some things that we are planning for the upcoming year. But I want to highlight our Spanish. We did 45% of students met their targeted growth. We're very excited to see that our students are using both languages during instruction. And we worked hard on the attendance, and we almost got there. We hit 93. We were hoping for 95, but we felt that we created a strong communication with our parents, so they are valuing education and the importance of being in school. Here's some of our building-wide data. When we look at our CFAs, our MAP, and our IAR, we know that if you look at it, there are pockets, and we recognize that there is some work that needs to be done. So we're very fortunate to partner up with WestEd, and within WestEd, they have a program called Vital, which is visibly improved teaching and learning. And that is work that we're doing with our PLC. So we've been doing a lot of lifting there with our teachers to establish protocols when we're looking at student data. We're looking at their assessments, the student work. And this is going to help our teachers improve their practice so that they can also support student growth. We've been working with Edgar from WestEd for the entirety of this year, and we're going to continue working with them. We know that has transformed our instructional practice in the classroom, and we want to continue to work with them for the following year.
So this slide is talking about our attendance goal, which, as you know, was to achieve 95%. We got 93, which we were really proud of. We did a lot of really kind of cool things with attendance, I think, this year. One thing that we did was classroom incentives. Each teacher was given a blank paper. You can see the picture. It had a couple different phrases. We had perfect attendance, better together. Anytime that the full class was there, they got to color in a letter. When the whole thing was done, they got a prize. They really kind of got into that. That was one kind of fun thing we did. And then we used our daily attendance numbers, if it was 95% for kindergarten, 98 for fifth, and posted them. And we didn't do it all the time, but probably about a couple times a month, we'd have attendance math, and we'd make a math problem out of it. It was a school challenge to solve the math problem and, report back to the office and get a prize for that too. Things that we did that also were effective for helping our attendance was the constant communication from the office, working with families to provide supports and figure out what's going on that's blocking your child from being here. How can we help? But one of the biggest things that we did was our 321 Connect initiative, where we had a giant poster in the office that had every single kid that goes to Rollins, and the teachers got to come in with a dot and identify the kids that they felt they had a really personal connection with. And that allowed us to see who was missing. And we know that those connections are so important for attendance and for achievement and all those things. And so once we had the visual of the kids that were missing, it really helped us to be intentional about targeting those kids with a special intervention, where teachers kind of adopted 3 kids for a whole month. And then those 3 kids would be met with twice a week for just a chat or a lunchtime, just something intentional to help them to feel more connected, which I think really did kind of boost our attendance and especially that like sense of belonging in the building.
All right, and for our goal for reading, we targeted 60% of the students would meet or exceed. Combined, we were at 41.5%. Again, Spanish language was awesome. The students were utilizing their language during instruction. But we also, I had said earlier, we use Vital Protocol to kind of boost how teachers are working with the students and looking at that data and how they can perfect their practices. We also use student data binders where the teachers were tracking how students were after every assessment or benchmark. They got to record their data so that they would be owners of that information. I wanted to make sure that they understood where they scored and where they needed to be, and then have our teachers refine their practices to support them. We know that we're happy that we're receiving HMH, so we're looking forward to that curricular work. We know that there's going to be a lot of resources for both languages, which we're looking forward to. In addition, we did have an initiative that Rollins is reading, and we're going to continue with that. In addition, we had the reading and writing challenges where we introduced it to our students, and Ms. Nile, I don't think she is here today, but she was able to create these challenges where the students were submitting their writing work. And we started off with maybe 20 in the first challenge, and then it just kept growing and growing. So we know that reading and writing are important, and we were able to incorporate that into a challenge for our students. We also had another opportunity to go to get PD, professional development, with Kagan Strategies. We're hoping to use that to create more student engagement during our lessons, more cooperative grouping, and provide our students that opportunity to engage in language. So we're very excited about the work that we'll have for next year.
So lastly, we'll talk about our math, which we used a lot of the same action plans and strategies that we did with reading. So I just want to highlight a couple that I think really had a big effect on our scores this year. And one was a dedicated classroom space for our interventionist. Normally she had kind of a small little office, and it really kind of hindered her ability to work with large groups of kids and to meet more kids. So with this new space, she was able to do intervention and enrichment, which we really think made a big difference to be able to work with those kids who just needed that little extra push to do more and not constantly just focusing on the kids that just really need extra help. She was able to do both. We also had a lot of success with our iReady. At the beginning of the year, we only had 7 students in the meeting and exceeding category. And by the spring, we had 133 that were meeting and exceeding. So while we didn't quite hit our 60% on MAP, we really saw a ton of growth in iReady. And part of that was due also to the targeted PD we did with iReady. They came in and did group work with the grade levels. They did classroom walkthroughs. We had look-fors and instructional protocols that we put into place that really, I think, made a big difference in our math scores. Another really cool number that we loved is 100 of our kids met their stretch growth, which we know was needed to close that gap that we're seeing. We have so many kids that are 2 or more grade levels behind. And on that note, at the beginning of the year, we had 200 kids that were 2 years behind or more. And by the end of the year, that number is down to 90. So I think the focus that we've put on math and all the different interventions we put in place have really made a big difference.
And before we close, I do want to say that I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I got to work here at EA, and more excited that Ms. Schmiesing is going to lead the school this upcoming year. So I'm very happy about it. I got to pick her, so I'm super excited, and I know she's going to do a great job for our students and the community. Thank you.
Any questions for us?
Good.
Next up, we have Gates Elementary School with Principal Mrs. Ballesteros and Assistant Principal Bahraini here to share their school improvement plan with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. First of all, good evening, board members, Dr. Halverson, cabinet, and community members. I am the proud principal of Gates Elementary School, Fatima Ballesteros. This is Ms. Krista Barony, my wonderful assistant principal. We're going to go ahead and start with a few highlights from this past school year. So for 2024-2025, 52% of our students met their expected growth in MAP reading. 58% of our students met their growth in math. Gates maintained an average daily attendance rate of 90%. And classroom teachers continue to work with students on setting those goals, academic goals, and they help to monitor their progress so that they can go ahead and show growth for their winter MAP assessment. And at Gates School, we still continue with our wonderful tradition of recognizing students for ABC awards each quarter: A, academics; B, behavior; C, for citizenship. And we've been doing this tradition for more than 25 years at Gates School. Now we'll go ahead and highlight just a couple of areas for building-wide data. Our kindergartners, they're able to come in, settle in, and biweekly go ahead and hit those targeted areas with their CFAs on meeting those standards that they're being assessed every couple weeks. And they're able to go ahead and transfer that over to their MAP, math and reading expected growth. So if we jump down, we look at third grade. Third grade was also on point on having more than 55% of their kids in the area of math show growth in CFAs at grade level, and then transfer that over to MAP to show where they're at and show improvement on working on those grade level standards, and in reading as well, but they're needing a little bit more support when it comes to their MAP reading growth. An area for us to continue to work on into the new school year will be to continue to provide support for 4th and 5th grade when it comes to math and their instruction, and then also continuing with a tremendous amount of focus in the area of literacy from K through 5th grade. But we are very excited to welcome in the new HMH program to help with that.
For goal number 2, operational excellence, Gates will maintain a cumulative monthly average daily attendance rate of 95% for the 24-25 school year. And Gates' average daily attendance was at 90%, and we will continue to work diligently to tighten systems to meet next year's goal. To improve attendance this year, we used weekly, monthly, and quarterly incentives. Incentives include rewarding individual students having weekly perfect attendance with Gates hats, as you can see in this picture. In addition to incentives, we also made daily phone calls home from office staff. We met weekly as an attendance team to tighten systems and study absences, looking for trends. Our data analyst updated teachers with student attendance data, and teachers were then able to refer students they felt were needing extra support to the attendance committee. Our attendance team and administration created communication about attendance to send home to families. This communication included information on the importance of attendance, as well as communicating to our Tier 3 families. As we move into our second year, this administrative team will continue to reflect on our practices this past year, looking for additional ways to improve our systems, including being proactive from the very beginning of the school year.
Now for goal 3, collaborative leadership, we had set a goal that by winter of 2025, 90% of our leadership team meetings will be implemented and documented to ensure efficient systems and continued growth of Gates staff as measured by the minutes from each meeting's agenda. This time around, because I was a new principal going into the new school year, I did go back to look at the strategic plan the district had established a few years ago and focused in on this pillar, especially with worthy target number 5, implement consistent organizational structures through effective leadership teams at all levels. And the administrative team, we wanted to ensure that meetings were held continuously to monitor student data, teacher performance, and use our school and district resources efficiently. We also saw that the positive effects from our collaborative work were pushed into our ILT meetings to have ongoing discussions to improve the areas of academic behavior and attendance. We stayed student focused and we were data driven when it came to this area.
For goal number 4, student achievement, by winter of 2025, 57% of students kindergarten through 5th will meet or exceed their expected growth goals in math as measured by MAP. And I'm proud to say we met this goal with 58% of students meeting or exceeding their growth goals, an increase of 6 percentage points from last year. Steps we took this past year to help our students grow include personalizing learning through the school's weekly goal of each student using iReady MyPath for at least 75 minutes and incorporating daily spiral review to ensure previously learned skills continue to be practiced. Daily math intervention groups met and CFA data was collected and analyzed by our PLC teams to drive instruction.
And then concluding our presentation, we had set a goal of 51% of our students will meet or exceed their expected growth goals in the area of reading as measured by MAP. And we were able to meet or exceed at 52%. And I'm very proud to say that we really worked hard to tighten our system here in literacy, because the year before, we had met with 39%. So this year we showed a growth of 13%, which I'm very, very proud of our Gates teachers, because that means they were very diligent, and the students also put their best foot forward to show that tremendous growth in that area. And we went ahead and we applied these steps through our action plan. But one of something that was new for our school this year was utilizing the class observation tool when we went and did our walkthroughs with an intentional focus on the instruction that was being done during literacy, and then provide just some feedback to the teachers and continue to plan ahead as to what those best practices would be. We also made sure to incorporate our instructional coach with a lot of thought and intention to make sure that she was providing resources, co-planning, modeling, and giving feedback to teachers, as well as allowing teachers to go into other classrooms and observe the dual language best practices as aligned by their guidance as well. Thank you. Do we have any questions or anything? No? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Today, I am going to be sharing a little bit about a grading practices update at the high school, and Ms. Mitchell is here as well and can chime in with anything as well. You can come on up just in case there are questions. We did a collaborative review of the grading practices at the high school for the fall. The goal was to really focus on providing accountability for student engagement through grading while being conscious of those equitable grading practices. A grading team consisting of members from the administrative and the teacher teams held multiple meetings to discuss historical information at the high school, current grading practices, and areas of need. And many of these teachers were actually members of the grading team that met a few years ago as well. We really reiterated that the purpose of grading was to provide information to families on student mastery of learning objectives, and it should not be used to reflect student behavior. Over the past few years, our grading approach had been cumulative. We had 85% of the final grade based on coursework, 15% from the final exam, and then to support students who may have had a rough patch during the semester, any assignment that scored below 50% was adjusted up to 50%. The goal was to give students a fair chance to pass the course if they were able to re-engage and improve instructionally. However, during recent discussions with the grading committee, some concerns were raised about how this model was being used. And in particular, we found that some students had figured out how to take advantage of the system, potentially being able to skip a class or skip an assignment while still managing to pass in the course. That outcome wasn't in line with our original intent, which is why that grading team came together to reassess the policy. The updated approach continues to prioritize those equity-based grading practices, offering support for students who face challenges. At the same time, it emphasizes the importance of attending class and actively participating to demonstrate your learning. This model shifts away from a fully cumulative system to a quarter-based structure. Students receive a progress grade each quarter, with each quarter contributing to 42.5% of the final grade. The final exam remains 15% of the total grade. And to provide a safety net, any quarter grade below 50% is raised up to the 50% mark. This adjustment doesn't apply to the final exam, And the structure is really designed to help students recover from a difficult quarter. If they're able to re-engage and put in the work during that second quarter, passing the semester is still within reach. So let me show you a model of what this looks like if we calculated one out. You can see the first example shows a grade without that 50% floor. A student has a personal issue during the first quarter and they score a 33% overall, so not a passing grade. During the second quarter, the student turns things around, attending classes, participating, and they score a 69%. The student scores a 67% on the cumulative final. However, that student still would not be able to pass the semester. In the grading model, the second grading model with that 50% floor, that student's quarter one score would round up to 50, still not a passing score, but thereby giving them that opportunity to still recoup. Their second quarter grade would stay the same because they made it above 50%. Their final exam would stay the same. And in the end, that student would still be able to pass the semester. So they would still be able to earn credit, and that change in effort would really be worth it. At a staff meeting, before the end of the year, that grading committee had shared these updates with the staff, and they received a lot of really positive feedback. It was a great opportunity for all of us. Jen and I had a lot of opportunity to hear what they were saying and engage with them, to really collaborate to find solutions to support the building. Anything else you would add that I might have missed?
No, I think that voices, yeah, we definitely address their concerns. And there's been a lot of positive kind of buzz around the building since then, within like the last month of school before we released.
Thank you. Any questions we can answer?
No, I think when this first 50 floor started, I think there was a lot of discussion within the teachers and a lot of people that were on the other side of not really believing on this model. But I think moving forward, I think it's very important to let the students know that, you know, they have to be held accountable. And when they leave high school, they have to be held accountable. So we have to kind of teach them that while they're in school and just move that forward. So thank you.
To families also before the school year was released, so that they can know before the school year starts that there's a change.
And students have already been chattering.
Yes, they are here as well.
Thank you.
Good.
And I'm going to ask Ms. Nikita Stewart to come up as well for our next presentation. We're going to talk about post-secondary and career expectations framework. Ms. Nikita Stewart is going to be taking on the role of the Director of College and Career Readiness, and she's here to chime in if I'm missing anything, because she has been fundamental in this work so far. The Illinois State Board of Education has a strong focus on post-secondary and career expectations for all schools. They, along with several other Illinois groups, have advocated for the schools to develop frameworks that really plainly lay out a plan for career exploration and development, post-secondary exploration, and then financial aid and financial literacy. These frameworks are required to be posted on school websites by July 1, 2025. Here you can see our middle school framework. On it, you can see that there are a number of very specific activities and learning experiences that each of our students gain over the course of each of their middle school years. These were generated through collaboration with all the middle school counselors. And throughout the years, you can see there are lessons and activities that focus on student aspiration, planning, self-advocacy, etc. In addition, students gain experience with the School Links platform, which provides numerous resources to students related to post-secondary opportunities. So that's middle school. The high school framework was also created through collaboration with the high school counseling team. And they really focused on what students should be supported to do and what students should know by the end of each grade level. So you can see this one has even more delineation on what's happening at each grade level. The framework includes regular use of that School Links platform again, and reinforces the importance of college and career fairs, creating resumes, participating in mock interviews, completing the FAFSA, and a number of other important milestones for post-secondary success. These are really living frameworks, so it's really important to recognize that these are going to be continually reviewed and updated to ensure our students are able to plan for their futures. And we're also always striving to provide those career and college experiences so students have exposure to options after high school. This year, we held many different college and industry field trips, courtesy of Ms. Stewart. And this summer, we're sending students to those summer residential camps. She's doing a lot of great work prepping to make sure that our kids are prepped and ready to go. And we are participating in the Pathways to Prosperity Career Showcase in October, which is a very large event combining many school districts together. So we're super excited about that. We're going to continue these actions we were just planning today about great things for the future and strive to add to our career pathways and industry certifications as well. Anything else you think I missed, Ms. Stewart?
No, you captured it all. And
Okay.
just know that we are aligning with the pathway so that we can, when we post, that families and communities are well aware of what is happening in the high school and in the middle school when we're talking about career readiness for our students.
We're really excited for that. It's going to be so good. You're going to do a great job. What questions can we answer about the PACE frameworks? Okay, thanks. Next up, I'm inviting our friend Dr. Guzman to share a little bit about our dual language program and our expansion to 5th grade and partnership with some dual language coaching supports.
Good evening, curriculum board. So today I'm here to, as we roll up to 5th grade dual language, I wanted to share with you guys a proposal on professional development and support and embedded professional development for the 25-26 school year projection. So dual language currently kindergarten through 5th grade, that's what we'll be hitting next year. Approximately 4,800 students are participating in that program. Nearly 240 teachers, over 30 building administrators, and 13 elementary sites would be impacted by this professional development. One of the vendors that we use is the Center for Applied Linguistics. It's basically a long-term professional development that really focuses on intensive professional development that really is on a need basis, and really it's a organization that really works on research and giving us targeted intentional professional development that we will continue to provide our teachers, administrators as well. We want to continue to work with Dr. Sandra Mercuri and consultants as they have served and supported kindergarten through 4th grade. We wanted to be able to provide the same professional development that we have in the past for all kindergarten through 4th grade teachers, providing them the same. Really focuses on the pedagogy and strategies of really modeling. Since COVID, we really have gone into the classroom to model instead of pulling out the teacher. We've done a lot of modeling side by side, planning side by side, and really sticking to our signature strategies that really develop language and literacy, that are preview review, cross-linguistic connections, and really that oracy development. The additional piece that we really want to focus on and is really getting everybody on board, including all of our administrators, especially our new administrators in the district, and those that probably did not go through all of the levels of professional development with the consultants. We've also acquired many teachers as we've gone along, or many teachers have moved grade level. So we wanted to make sure that we provide that side-by-side modeling and embedded, not just planning, but delivering of instruction so that we have less missed language opportunities. And just a little bit about Sandra Mercuri and consultants, known authors of many books and research. So this is what we're asking for is teacher support. There's 20 days of teacher support where we create cycles, coaching cycles throughout the district, and then building administrator support that they work hand in hand, side by side with the administrator, where they're a little bit more vulnerable and really create that support. This year we have really worked with making sure the language is embedded within that school improvement plan and those goals. As you guys have seen, building administrators come and report the support that they have been receiving. And then not just building administrators, but district administrators that are new, understanding the concepts of dual language and what we have going on here at East Aurora School District. This would be funded by our Title III funds that are allocated for English language learners. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? This would be our last year. Thank you.
Next up, we're going to talk about two great opportunities to partner with community organizations that have come on our campuses to support students with certifications and real life skills for success. We're hoping to continue these partnerships again this year. Would Brian Failing and any other representatives from the Aurora Fire Museum please stand? The Aurora Fire Museum came to our school at East Aurora High School to teach and certify our students this past year in CPR. And in addition, they provided training on how to use a fire extinguisher appropriately. Not only did our students benefit from this, but I'm proud to say that the Aurora Fire Museum was recognized by the Illinois Association of Museums with an Innovation Award for the Practical Fire and Life Safety Skills program that they did with EAHS. We really appreciated that partnership, and we're looking to continue that in this upcoming year. Good job. Thanks. Another partner that we worked with this past year is Kids Matter. They came to help teach our students about teen mental health and first aid, which is an important topic in our community. The students completed the program with a focus on how to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health and substance use challenges in their friends and peers. This partnership resulted in certifications for our students as well. All this work resulted in approximately 600 students completing the course with certifications in CPR and teen mental health and first aid. These can be included on their resumes. It expands their employability and success in life. And we're hoping to continue these partnerships in our Skills for Success class this upcoming year with freshmen. This would be up for action at the first board meeting in July, and it would be paid for out of Title IV funds. What questions can I answer? Awesome. Next up is the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Illinois. Recently, we met with the Boys and Girls Club of Northern Illinois to discuss a potential partnership. They're looking to provide an after-school programming to our elementary students. They're hoping to provide the support at each of our elementary buildings after school throughout this upcoming school year. And that programming would be funded through grant support or paid for by families on a sliding scale. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. The Boys and Girls Club has a strong mission to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. They focus on attending to students' basic needs so that they can find success, and they really strive to create these opportunities for students to access the programming, provide a safe environment, address students' social and emotional needs, provide academic help, post-secondary and career exploration, and then additional areas of student interest. So they have a lot packed into their program. They have a very structured program. It provides time for students to decompress after the school day with a snack and that mind-body reset that's so important. They incorporate learning and tutoring, healthy decision-making, physical fitness and wellness, leadership skills, career exposure, and even the arts. The program runs from 3:30 till 6 p.m. after school. The schedule is not exactly the same every day, but is the same over the course of the week, and it hits all those areas that I previously mentioned. Families do have the opportunity to pick up their student, though, at any point during that time. So if they needed to pick up their kid at 4:30 one day, they sure could. And if they didn't come until 6, that would be okay as well. The Boys and Girls Club has been doing these partnerships for a long time, and they've been monitoring their impact in other districts. They brought us some data to show the positive outcomes related to attendance, reading, math, and family partnerships. So let's take a look a little bit at their data. Here's some attendance data from a current partner. It's another school district that shows the students who regularly attended the Boys and Girls Club, which is shown in blue, had higher attendance than those non-club members shown in purple. On the next slide, you'll see reading data from a partner district, and it shows that club members in blue who attended regularly had higher reading performance than those non-club members in purple. In this next slide, this one's a little bit different, so I'm throwing it out there so that you can look at it a little bit differently. This is the Illinois Assessment of Readiness data for a partner district, and it shows all the score breakdowns for the kids who go to the club. So these are kids who do attend the Boys and Girls Club in this partner district, and it shows that those attend the most, attending 4 or 5 days a week, actually score the highest in both ELA in blue or math, shown in purple. And that's compelling information. The last data slide here shows information about the partner district and some of the responses from the community members, the families, people who would recommend them to others, and that the school and district staff really feel like the Boys and Girls Club partnership matters in their district. As I mentioned before, I talked a little bit about funding. Funding for the after-school program would come through the Boys and Girls Club via subsidies and grants obtained by the club, or may be paid for in part by families on a sliding scale. The Boys and Girls Club estimate that 80 to 85% of our youth would attend the program for free. The Boys and Girls Club takes safety very seriously. Listed on this slide are all of those safety requirements and certifications that they require in order to be on the Boys and Girls Club staff. The Boys and Girls Club are looking to provide a partnership where they serve all of our elementary schools. They're really hoping to partner with our schools in the district to educate people about the clubs, get students involved, and make a difference in our community. Included in your packet is an MOU for your review, and this would be brought to the first board meeting in July for a vote. What questions can I answer about the Boys and Girls Club potential partnership?
How will they determine the sliding scale for families?
They actually have a sliding scale based on a percentage of that income. Do you want to talk more about that one?
Board member Levis, so it would be any student who was 250% or more or less of the federal poverty level, and you look at the family breakdown, would qualify for free. So if you look at our demographics, it's typically 80 to 85%. We're probably a little closer to 85 to 90%, and that would only be if if they did not receive the grants. We would look to partner with them as a co-applicant on some of the grants. They're looking at some grants throughout the city. They're looking at some of the federal grants that are there. If the state goes and opens up the 21st Century Grant again, we would look to partner with them similar to what we've done in the past with other outside organizations at that point. So if we were able to get those grant funds, we'd be able to guarantee that all of our students would go for free. If we don't, we'd probably be at a 90 to 95% clip. And they did say that the part of the reason they do the subsidizing is because if there's a student who the federal poverty level says should be paying a certain amount and they're not able to do it, they want to make sure they have funds available so all students can attend. So I think they would be a willing partner with us to make sure that we could get any student who wanted to attend after-school programming in after-school programming if the seats are available.
And this was only for elementary level, correct?
Currently, it's for elementary. They did talk about the possibility of considering expansion in the future, but with so many elementary schools, we wanted to start and make sure that we could do it well.
And I think it also goes with our attendance data for the after-school programming. Sometimes in middle school, because they do have so many other options with the arts and athletics, et cetera, the attendance wasn't as great. So we wanted to start with the elementary level and see how it rolled out, and then potentially expand it from there in the future.
All right. Let's chat a little bit about the back to school fair. It's hard to believe that we're in early June and we're talking about the start of next school year, but here we are. Every year we host a back to school fair. This year, our back to school fair will be on Saturday, August 9th. So put that on your calendar and join us. It's a lot of fun. We're firming up all the plans, including haircuts and books and communities, members being there, and lots of giveaways. Included here is the memo and request for backpacks and supplies so that we can hand those out to all of our students. These would be paid for from title funds and would not exceed $65,000. We have the quote in there for the backpacks, but there are some supply quotes that I have not been able to get in hand just yet. I asked them to do some tweaking. So it should not exceed $65,000, and this would go for action at the first board meeting in July. Any questions about those back to school fair backpacks? Next up, we have the 25-26 assessment calendar. It's broken down by grade band with pre-K to grade 5 in one, grade 6 to 8 in another, and 9 to 12 delineation. It's an informational item, so no actions needed, but wanted to make sure that you saw our assessment calendar. Questions?
I do have not a question, but as I was looking at this assessment data and calendar, I just want that we have in mind when we're
Mhm.
looking at the state, the district, and the unit assessment going forward, because then we have a lot of assessment that coming together with IAR, access, and unit assessments. And I'm just going this on experience. When you got to unit assessment, because this is time that's taken away from instruction, and then there comes a time that there's not enough time to give that instruction, and you still have to give those assessments. So when we're looking at this assessment, make sure that we're actually looking at we're looking at the unit assessment that we have to do with HMH, because that's coming new. Just that teachers are not so overwhelmed. Just putting it out there.
We hear you 100%, and we definitely have heard from the teachers as well. So while we haven't had a full assessment committee yet, Dr. Engel has taken on the work of collaborating with individuals, and I think you'll appreciate this as a primary age teacher. We are looking to eliminate Fontes and Pinnell right now.
We did eliminate
And
it.
we have eliminated it because it is taking up so much time, and the return on our investment we're getting for kids when we look at instructional levels isn't what it once was. I can think back to when I was a kindergarten teacher some 15 years ago. We were using FMP then, and it does require a lot of updating as far as the training associated with it. And we're not there right now, so we are looking to move off of Fontes and Pinnell and use some of our other metrics. Fontes and Pinnell alone, especially at the early elementary levels there, we should get back right around 2 to 3 weeks in assessment time with that. So we definitely hear you loud and clear with that, and we've heard from our classroom teachers as well, especially at the elementary level there.
And in tandem with that, we also, Dr. Guzman and I had been chatting a little bit about those practices and the assessments at the end of the units and which ones are going to give us our biggest bang for our buck. So that is a key part of our thinking. And the union president and I have chatted about setting up that assessment team, the committee for the fall, so that we can review this and plan for next year, keeping exactly what you're thinking in mind. No other questions? Okay, next up is the 25-26 Board Curriculum Committee calendar. These dates align with the board meeting dates for next year. This will go for action at the first board meeting in July. The next item in our list is a disposal request. We have a few items that are no longer needed in our schools because we are no longer offering FLES programming at the elementary level. So we're seeking approval at that first board meeting in July to dispose of our FLES and Discovery materials. And lastly, we have the enrollment and attendance update as of the last day of school. And then at our next meeting, I'll be bringing forward our registration updates and keep you updated with all that information. Any questions?
Thank you so much for all that information. I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 6:44. Thank you.